What's up, people? What's up? What's up? Just want to jump in here real quick. Um, Talk about some of these early games real quick that we had. We had a very eventful Sunday. A very eventful Sunday. Um, some surprises, not some things that weren't surprised. People weren't surprised about. A lot of y'all in there having y'all fun right now with the Cowboys loss. But this was a very eventful Sunday, week 3 in the NFL. We saw a lot of points get scored. We saw a lot of close games. We even had one game that I thought was going to end up being a tie. That Baltimore and Colts game was crazy. That went straight down. Went down to the wire on that one. Matter of fact, where they go the overtime on that. But yeah, man, what y'all think about these early games? The whole slate. I know a lot of people want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, as the game just went on. Of course, they just lost the game. Hey, loss is a loss. You take it, you move on. Um, no need to sit back, make a lot of excuses on it. You lose the game. A lot of you folks out here overacting and it's going on extra crazy. Just like I don't know, like this is week 16 or 17 or something, man. Y'all pump y'all brakes. It's not even that serious. Loss is a loss. But if you want to talk about the Cowboy game, I mean, it is what it is. Cowboy fans, I'd be interested to see what you think about this thing. A loss is a loss, man. You move on. One thing I will say though, pertaining to the Dallas Cowboys, I will say this, right? What's gotten overshadowed in the first few weeks of the season is the fact that they've been playing well defensively, but nobody's talking about the offense. And you got to come to grips with the fact that they haven't played great offensively the entire season. I mean, these 3 games, they have not played great these three games. The defense carried them the first 2 weeks. Dak and them made a few plays. CeeDee Lamb looked really good last week, but they haven't been playing great. So, and I've been saying that some people say I'm just hating or just take the win. I'm always going to take the win. One thing about me, I'm always going to take the win when they win. But their offense hadn't played great. And I'm not about to come on here and slam Dak Prescott, but y'all saw what happened at the end of that game today too. So you take it for what it is. I'm not sure what Dak thought he saw on that one. It is what it is. We can question McCarthy a little bit with some of the play calling and not taking the points early. It's a lot of stuff you can point at, but I'm not going to make any excuses on that. But the offense has not looked good altogether. We've got a good rushing performance today. Dowdle looked good. Of course, we look good all the way around. Running the ball for the most part, especially missing 3 offensive linemen. But the offense as a whole has not looked great. One thing I will say, though, and I don't want to overreact on this one, but I know you guys were really hype about Peyton Hendershot and Jake Ferguson and Schoonmaker and all that, but we missed Dalton Schultz. This was a day that the Dallas Cowboys could have really, Dak could have really used a Dalton Schultz. Sometimes you guys look at the fact that these guys come out here and Ferguson makes a nice play and he get a first and Hendershot does this, but none of them through 3 games has given us the production that Dalton Schultz was giving us. So that's something to look at down the road. Look, that was Dak's security blanket. And no matter how you feel about Dak Prescott, that was his security blanket. And Dalton Schultz made some of the toughest catches on 2nd, 3rd down. He was somewhat of a monster with us. So I do think that they do miss him on that. But we just ain't come to play today. Dallas Cowboys, the defense, it took them a whole half really to get themselves together. And they still, let some big plays go by in the second half. But the offense itself, no matter where you want to point the finger, it's not been solid. Even the first 2 weeks when we were putting up points. Let's just keep it real, right? So we'll see what happens with that. What you folks think about them 70 points that got dropped? That Miami dropped out here today. That was flat out disrespectful. And you think about the fact that they went out there and got it done without Jalen Waddle today. That offense is a machine. You hear me? That offense is a machine when Tua is healthy. And I know a lot of folks were out there screaming last year they need to go ahead and hang them up. Tua ain't think about hanging them up after those concussions and stuff last year. That offense is a monster. And if you're just like me, you mess around and go out here, and if you're playing FanDuel, I had Raheem Mostert in my lineup literally till about 40 or 50 seconds left to before FanDuel locks. And I pulled it. What was I thinking? Ridiculous. I pulled Kenneth Walker too. That would have came out roses. But so I stunk it up all the way around in FanDuel, man. But yo, it is what it is, man. They hung 70 points. The Miami Dolphins need to be talked about when we're talking about some of the best teams playing in the AFC, actually even in the league right now. And they have some injuries too that they've kind of put behind them, man. Just keeping things moving, man. So, but hanging 70 points on somebody is disrespectful. And I see somebody put in the comments, it's not telling me who it is, but put in the comments, I guess we talking about the Cowboy game, right? Cowboy game, they had 200 yards rushing. Okay. Well, no, it was 200 yards rushing. We talking about the Cowboys running game, or we talking about what they gave up? All right, so because I had somebody hit me early, so man, we were running the ball, and I was talking to him on the phone. Offensive Cowboys doesn't look good. It needs a lot of work. Okay, let me see what some of these comments we got up here. I can see the fans making the Super Bowl. Well, it's early. It's week 3. I don't want to overreact over anybody. There's teams right now that are undefeated that are probably going to dip. There's teams right now that are 1-2 that are probably going to make a run. So you never know. But yeah, the Miami Dolphins look really, really solid. You got to give it up. Here's another comment about Dallas right here. Dallas defense got none. No, Dallas defense not going to be dominant every game. That's why you need a reliable quarterback, to pick up the slack. Dak ain't it. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go on a Dak Prescott rant today, but y'all see what it is. All right, so even before that interception, there was some questionable stuff. Some from the sideline, some from the quarterback position. It is what it is. But that last play, not the fact that the interception was thrown, the fact of the type of interception it was, like what was he looking at? Like with 3 guys right there? I don't know. Hey, we can definitely question that. So I just saw Terry Bradshaw said that's going to be one of the things that's going to be all on social media and in the papers about that. He don't think it's right. Now, that got to own some of that this game. Maybe he comes and balls out next week, but he's got to own some of what happened today. It wasn't all on the defense. That the plays, we getting down the 10 to 15 yard line, and we can't really do anything with the ball. We can't get it in there. I mean, it is what it is. He's got to own some of that. But hey, it's not overreaction. A lot of y'all posting in the group overreacting or just having fun. Just having fun like you always do. But a lot of y'all been quiet for the past 2 weeks. And today I'm seeing all types of cowboy gifts and memes up there. But it is what it is. Have fun with it. What else happened today out there? Green Bay, New Orleans game was crazy. That was a pretty good game. We had an 18-17 Green Bay with the comeback after looking like New Orleans was going to run away with that thing. And when Derek Carr got hurt, it kind of seemed like the air kind of came out of the balloon for them in that particular game. So it was a pretty interesting game. Jordan Love, got to give it up to him. Jordan Love has his team playing some good football. And you got to take your hat off to the young man because he didn't have particularly good. He came into this game leading the NFL in quarterback rating, right? And then didn't have a good game the first half, probably the first, 3.5 quarters, and he was able to turn it around. So, you got to take your hat off to him. And then Jimmy Graham actually scores a touchdown for the Saints. And I'm like, God, how old is Jimmy Graham? Seems like Jimmy Graham has been in the league, bro, for like 25 years. And for him to score a touchdown today, I was like, huh? That was straight crazy. But that was also a very entertaining game. What we got? You see, Caesar, please don't make any prediction on my 49ers. Thank you. Yeah, you don't want Caesar doing nothing for you. Caesar was going to be real quiet today until the Chargers lucked up and won that game. Minnesota was right there. Minnesota actually should have won that football game today. And I saw a lot of y'all putting up those gifts and talking about Kirk Cousins, but we can't really blame that on Kirk. Kirk played well. And I was always taught you can get your hands on the football, you should catch it. So I'm not quite sure I'm blaming that last interception on Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been playing exceptionally well, to be honest with you, for them to be a team that's 0-3. We want pointing at Kirk Cousins is the easy thing to do, but Kirk played well today. So I'm glad Justin Jefferson didn't get hurt. Wasn't more seriously hurt. But in that game, that's my guy right there. But yeah, the Chargers pulled it out 28-24 in the game that we felt was going to be an exciting game anyway. But Caesar just lucky. Caesar would have been real quiet most of the day if that thing would have went the other way and Kirk would have stuck that thing in there. Real quick, we ain't gonna be here but a half a sec, man. I gotta get ready to eat dinner and get ready for these Steelers and Raiders to get it on. Two of my homies are down there at the game. How we feeling about the New York Jets? New York Jets, I tried, man. I tried to will the New York Jets to victory. I was telling Source this morning that I was going with them. Y'all give Zach Wilson a break, but I don't think I'm going to speak too much more on Zach Wilson the rest of the season. Played a good defense today, but they just couldn't get it done. And I don't know, maybe he's just not that dude. The Jets, Robert Saleh came out after the game, and he basically said that he's still standing behind Zach Wilson, and maybe things do turn around for Zach Wilson, right? But if you're the Jets, you've got to be looking to bring in somebody else. I don't care if it's Carson Wentz. I know, but it can't be any worse than what we're getting right now. And as I mentioned the source earlier, I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I was seeing some things. We're talking about if Minnesota fell into big of a hole early in the season, that the Jets would possibly entertain reaching out to the Minnesota Vikings to see about Kirk Cousins. And I don't know how I feel about that offensive line, and Kirk had to go back there and stand stationary with the Jets, but there he definitely will be better than Zach Wilson. I mean, you got to remember, Minnesota hasn't extended Kirk Cousins up until this point. Couple of other games. I thought the Detroit and Atlanta game was going to be a little bit closer than it was. It was 20-6. I picked Detroit to win it. I still think Atlanta is going to actually make a good run in that division. But I thought that game would definitely be a little bit closer. And especially with the fact that Detroit was playing with the injuries they were playing with. There was no Montgomery, so Gibbs played. And he didn't have the game I thought he would have. Amon-Ra St. Brown, they had to put a steel plate in his cleat so that his toe wouldn't bend. He's got that injury. And then they were dealing with a couple of other things, but they still pulled it out. But I thought Atlanta and Detroit would be a little bit closer, than it actually was. Washington got blasted by the Buffalo Bills. I should have stuck with my original. Thought when I had them beating the brakes off of Buffalo, beating the brakes off of Washington. But this morning, I don't know what came over me. Might have been the coffee. I don't know what it was. I started to think about it. I said, this will be one of the games where Washington plays really good defense. And, of course, Josh Allen decides to trick it up. And it ended up being a close game. And it didn't turn out that way. Washington got their brakes beat off them. So that's why I'm sitting there tripping to some of y'all Washington fans in the SBP and here posting cowboy memes right now. But I'm going to leave that one alone. Y'all should be very quiet. KC, they would probably beat the brakes off of Chicago. They were waiting for that offensive explosion. They got it finally this year. And another surprise for the day, Houston. Not only did Houston beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston beat the brakes off the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were looking some kind of good. And I had that game pulled up on one of my iPads. But I was sitting there thinking about, that whole situation when I was talking about Dalton Schultz earlier being with the Cowboys. But this kid that they got, the other receiver, Tank Dell. Tank Dell had himself a ball game today. If you don't know that name, you might get to know it because this young kid was out here balling today. So you got to take your hat off to Houston for that 20-point victory. We got a comment here. They exposed the overhyped Jags. Do you really think the Jags are overhyped? I mean, they did win their division last year, and it wasn't pretty. You know, they didn't go out there and win, 13, 14 games in their life, but they did win their division. And they've looked okay in spurts, through the first 2 weeks, especially getting Ridley back, being able to, run a mixture from ETN, incorporate Bigsby a little bit. But, man, Bigsby scored today, matter of fact. But they beat the brakes. If you'd have told me that Houston had a shot to win the game, I probably still would have picked Jacksonville. But beating Jacksonville by 20 points is crazy. Their O-line is bad. Yeah, they do have a bad offensive line. It's terrible. It's terrible. And that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to jump on real quick before the Steelers take on the Raiders. Ought to be a pretty interesting game. So I'm not sure how y'all feel about that one. If y'all watching, you're not watching, I imagine as NFL fans, you're at least gonna have it pulled up on a computer or something. But it may be a very entertaining game. Two of my brothers are down there at the game right now. Two of my bros. One of them is a Raider fan. One is a Steeler fan. So hope they have a good time down there. But that was it. Who y'all got tonight? I see we got the Steelers by 3 tonight. Let's see. What else we got? Comment about Jacksonville. I'm in Jacksonville, so they overdo it. Is that how they doing it down there? They overdo it a little bit. They got a little hype because of Peterson got them looking like a little bit of something, or at least he did last year. So maybe they overhyping it down in Jacksonville. I don't think outside of Jacksonville, outside of Florida, anybody's really overhyping it. So I don't know, but just wanted to jump in. Y'all enjoy the game, and catch y'all later in the week. Might catch y'all tomorrow. We might go live tomorrow and talk about some stuff. So y'all stay tuned. But appreciate y'all. I'm out.